Well, hello everyone, George Rambleman here. Hope everybody's doing well. I have finally got a chance to get out on my new BMW F750 GS for an extended ride. It's late February now. I bought it in January, and I guess one of the downsides to buying a motorcycle in the winter is you've got a new bike and you want to get on it, but sometimes the weather just won't cooperate. And here in Georgia this winter, it's been cold and wet so far. And the few nice warm days we've had, I've had something else going on and I just couldn't get out and ride on it. But I've been out almost all day on it today, and I wanted to kind of give you my first impressions of it. This is obviously not a review based on you know, many months and years and miles on the bike, so I'll do that later. But I did want to kind of give you my first impressions on this motorcycle. You know, I showed it to you on the walk around video a few weeks ago. It's a beautiful bike, 2023. I bought it new, and I'm just enjoying it a lot, the few miles that I have on it. Today I wanted to get out and give it a really, you know, extended ride, and really today I wanted to evaluate two things. Number one was the comfort of the seat. You know, my previous rides have just been short rides, and you know, the seat seems comfortable enough, but you know, until you really get out on a bike and you know, put some miles and some time on it, you don't really know how the seat's going to be long term. So I've done that today, and the seat that I have on this bike is the standard seat. You can get a comfort seat for it that's more padding, so I guess more comfortable. It sits you up a little bit higher. This seat's about 31 inches off the ground. I think the comfort seat will put you up about 32, or maybe this one's 32 and the comfort seats put you up around 33, but in that range. And my opinion of the seat is, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, for just comfort and long range comfort, I give it like a 7. It's not bad. It's, you know, kind of cups your backside pretty well. You don't slide around at all. Seems to be fairly well padded, this, you know, standard seat. But you know, I would say from about the hour-and-a-half point to the 2-hour point, I start to kind of squirm a little bit and feel like I need to get off and rest. And of course, I tend to stop and rest anyway at that point. But will I upgrade to a different seat? Maybe tending towards probably. But not right away. I'm really going to try to give this seat more of a long-term, you know, test before I, you know, spend a lot of money on a seat. The comfort seat's not cheap, BMW, and there's some aftermarket seats out there I've seen some videos on. I know Sargent makes a seat for this one that gets a lot of good reviews, so I'll kind of put that one aside for now. But the riding position is good. You know, you're upright. You know, a lot of my comments on the ergonomics and the comfort of this bike are going to be, you know, as compared to, you know, the Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic that I've ridden for the past 3 years, and similar type cruiser and touring bikes. I mean, it's a different. This is a different motorcycle, and the riding position is different. You know, I feel like I'm sitting up a lot higher, which I am, and you know, my feet aren't out in front of me. They're kind of, you know, right below me. I don't feel hunched over like I would on a sport bike, but you know, the riding position is pretty upright. But it definitely feels like more of somewhat of an aggressive riding position than you have on the touring bikes or the cruisers, where you just kind of sit back and, you know, almost like sitting on sitting on a sofa or sitting on an easy chair going down the road. This one doesn't have that feeling, but it feels good. It feels like kind of motorcycles did when I first started riding when I was younger. And you know, so my arm position and the upright seating, I don't have any complaints about that. It's comfortable. You know, it's got foot pegs, not floorboards. I'm pretty much used to them now. But the ergonomics of the bike and the seat are pretty good, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. I may upgrade to a different seat later on, especially if I find myself doing more long distance rides. But that's not the number one upgrade I think the bike needs. After being on it all day and being on roads like this, and I actually got out on the highway some and did some 70-mile-an-hour runs on the highway, I think this windscreen is going to have to go. When I first rode it, I thought, well, this windscreen is not bad. You still get a good bit of air to your body and up around your helmet, but it's kind of a smooth flow. It doesn't really it's not really turbulent, but after being on the highway at 70 miles an hour for an extended amount of time, the amount of wind to your body and on your helmet, even though it's not terribly turbulent, you can definitely feel it. And I think that would be pretty fatiguing over a longer rides. And today, I mean, I'm looking at the temperature gauge on the bike says it's 69 degrees. It's kind of cloudy today, 69 degrees, and I'm actually a little bit cold. And I don't like that at all. So I'll probably upgrade the windscreen. In fact, I know I'm going to upgrade the windscreen. I'm already looking at a few options. From what I've seen on YouTube so far, I think I'm going to go with the Madstad adjustable windscreen. They are based out of Florida, and they make a windscreen especially for the BMW 750 GS. You can get it anywhere from, I think, 16 inches up to 24 inches. I've pretty much settled on, I think, an 18-inch windscreen for myself. Should give me a lot more wind protection, and I'll be able to see right over it. It also has some little winglets on the side of the windshield that'll probably help with the air that's kind of coming around the sides. So that's going to be sooner than later. In fact, when I get home today, I might even order it, because after being out on this bike all day, the amount of wind is just it's tired me out a little bit, and it's very much different from a touring bike cruiser with the fairing or a big windshield like I had on the Heritage. Very, very different. I mean, this really looks cool, but doesn't give very much wind protection at all, really. I guess maybe it's there to kind of protect this TFT screen. The electronics on the bike and this TFT screen, I mentioned before in my walk-around video how much I like it. I love it. As you can see, it's a nice big display. Just has all the information you need. I'm starting to kind of navigate around it, learn how to navigate around it. I really like the tire pressure monitoring on this. That's a nice feature that I didn't have before. It's got the ride modes, and I've ridden in several different ride modes today, all the way from the dynamic, which is kind of a sport mode, to the road mode, which I'm in now, and then I actually rode for a while in rain mode, even though it wasn't raining. And you know what, you can definitely tell the difference in the handling and the throttle response and everything with a different mode. So they do make a difference. It's also got the heated grips, and all the controls are, just seem to be in a good position. Like I said, I'm still kind of learning how to navigate through this screen and learn everything, but it's just got everything you need. The cruise control works great. I have no problems with the cruise control. So the electronics and the safety features on this bike, the cornering ABS, the ride modes, the traction control, I can't say enough about it. One thing that's just that just really struck me as I've been on this bike now for a while, you know, compared to my Heritage, is, you know, you're sitting up higher. I feel like I'm more on top of the bike than kind of in the bike, and this bike is light. I mean, it's barely 500 pounds. It's just under 500 pounds actually. And I mean, going through curves and the twisties, you know, when people review bikes, and I've said the same thing even about bigger touring bikes, oh, this seems pretty nimble. And you know, I was always in the, you know, talking from the experience of riding the bigger, heavier touring bikes and cruisers. But nimble has kind of taken on a whole new meaning with this bike. I mean, it is light, and you don't take it. It takes very minor input to the handlebars to turn this bike and lean this bike, and it just handles really well. I really like the way that it feels, and with the, you know, with the riding position and being able to kind of be sitting up like this, it is very, you know, easy to control on the twisties, and loads of fun. It's light. It's just easy to throw around. You know, I'm not really an aggressive rider, so I'm not going to be like tearing up the twisties, but it is nice to have such a nimble bike. And you know, one of the reasons I bought this bike is I'm getting older. You know, I don't really want the big heavy motorcycle. I want something lighter. It feels lighter when I'm riding it, and feels lighter when I'm moving it around my garage. And I've gotten at this bike, but you know, the bike doesn't feel small. I mean, the bike feels like, you know, it's pretty, you know, it's a lot taller than what I'm used to, and you know, to me it just feels good. I don't know how to say it any other way. It's just the lightness of the bike and the way it handles. You know, if you're like me, you're older, and I'm 67 years old. I'll be 68 in July, so you know, I think a lot of people my age that ride motorcycles, been riding motorcycles, if you've got a big heavy bike, I'm gonna guess that you've probably thought like I did, maybe it's time to downsize to something lighter. And there's a lot of good YouTube videos. Craig Ripley has a YouTube channel, Living Off the Slab. He did a vlog several months ago that really influenced me a lot, where he was talking about, as you get older, maybe you should you know, downsize your bike some. You know, your strength declines a little bit as you get older, and your reaction time, and having a big heavy bike is maybe just not the best thing. And that's kind of drove my decision. It helped me make my decision to get this motorcycle. And I'll do a future vlog on kind of the decision-making process that I went through, and the decision I made to sell my Heritage, which I did. I would have really liked to have kept it and had the Heritage and this bike, but I just didn't feel like that would be a wise use of my money to have two motorcycles that probably wouldn't, one of them wouldn't get used as much. I'd be paying taxes and insurance and everything else on it, and I just didn't think that was a good idea. And more so than myself not thinking it was a good idea, my wife didn't think it was a good idea either, so that sealed the deal. So I sold the Heritage, and I sold the Heritage for more than I paid for this. So you know, it's a win-win for me financially. I miss the Heritage. I love that bike. I have nothing but great things to say about the Heritage. But it was just time for me to, you know, try out a different style bike. You know, at 67, almost 68 years old, I mean, I don't know how much longer I've got to ride a motorcycle, to be honest with you. And I'd never had a bike like this, and you know, I wanted to try it out, and I did. So that's it. I've been out all day on this great new motorcycle. I love it. It's a good choice for me. Looking forward to putting a lot more miles on it, and sharing some of my rides with you, and some of the upgrades that I might do to it, and my opinions on the bike. And all I can say is, if you're an older rider like I am, and you're thinking about downsizing to a smaller bike, you know, consider one of these adventure style bikes. I mean, this thing will go off-road. It's not really made to be an off-road bike, but it'll do it. But I guess it's more of like a sport touring model, if you ask me. I mean, that's what I kind of think it is. And it's loads of fun. If you've never ridden one, you know, get down to your Triumph dealer, your BMW dealer, or KTM, or some other brand, Kawasaki, and check out this style of motorcycle, because they're loads of fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying this bike. All right, I'm almost home. Great day out on the bike. Hope everybody has a good week. So long, everybody.